Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem, amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, it is my honor to be here tonight. And not just to be here as one of the coordinators or people who are hosting, but to be able to share this stage with my beloved brothers, friends, and scholars who have spent years of their lives serving the Deen of Allah. May Allah bless all of your efforts, make this as a source of khair and barakah, and utilize Miftaah as a source of hidayat and guidance for the entire humanity. Few quick things, brothers and sisters. Tonight we have gathered to learn few practical steps with regards to the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I think they don't want me to move around. Does that work from the back, or can I turn this on from here? So, I'm a New Yorker, I gotta move around. I can't stand in one place. I'm so sorry. Forgive my English, I'm from Brooklyn. So, used to be. So, yeah. So tonight, we're here and gathered to learn about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we are inspired by someone or something, there are few characteristics that touches our hearts. One is the mannerism of that individual that really attracts and touches our heart. Sometimes it's the physical appearance of something that touches our heart. A person, a place, a thing. It's just that natural beauty of something attracts and connects our hearts towards it. And sometimes it's the favor or the blessings that they have given us that attracts us towards that thing. When you look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will find the excellence in all of these three things. When you look at the akhlaq and the manners, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran mentions to his Habib, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he stayed awake for the entire night, he said, قُمِ اللَّيْلَ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ نِصْفَهُ وَمِنْ قُسْ مِنْهُ قَلِيلًا. That's too much. Lessen your burden of awakening at night. When he cried for the hidayat of the humanity and wishing for the guidance of the mankind, Allah mentioned in the Quran, فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاقِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ إِن لَّمْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا. Oh my Nabi, will you give yourself up in the grief of the worry and guidance for the humanity? That's too much. So when he cried too much, Allah said, that's too much, decrease that. When he stayed awake for too much, that's still too much. But when he came to his akhlaq and his morals and his character, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never said it's too much. Allah said, فَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. For indeed, you are at the excellence, the pinnacle and the heights of morals and ethics. So brothers and sisters, tonight, we go back inspired by the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by taking the physical mannerism and akhlaq of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to share a quick story. I know that I only have 3 minutes, but I'm going to try to make this quick. Ibn Ishaq is one of the early authors of Sirah. From the early works of Sirah, which is the life of the Prophet ﷺ, is a man, a giant known as Ibn Ishaq. Ibn Ishaq mentions in his kitab, in his Sirah, in his book, that when the Prophet ﷺ was born, he was an orphan. His father had passed away. His mother, the Prophet ﷺ's mother, wanted him to be sent to an outside place in Mecca so that he nourishes in a place which was much better through its environment, through its water, through its nourishment, and through the language. And the people who were highly skilled in doing that were the people of Banu Sa'd. The Prophet ﷺ's mother and Halima took him to the outskirts of the city, waiting for the people of Banu Sa'd to come and take the children. And one of the persons present there, Halima, actually was the one who was coming from the tribe of Banu Sa'd. So Amina, the mother of the Prophet ﷺ, is waiting anxiously for someone from the tribe of Banu Sa'd to take her child. And of course, all the mothers and parents that are coming in are looking for families that are well established so that they are given something in exchange of taking care of their child. and no one is taking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This orphan, this yatim, has been left all the way in the back, in the outskirts of Mecca. While everyone takes a round and they look at him and they say, you know what, the father is not there, we're not going to take him. After a while, Halima and her husband Sa'ad were going back, and she said, you know what, I'm not going to go back empty-handed. I'm going to take this child. I'm going to take this orphan. Ibn Ishaq mentions in his kitab, the Sirah book, he says that when Halima and her husband were coming, she had given a birth to her own son, but she was too weak and they were too poor to even provide any nourishment for that child. And that child cried for the entire night while they were traveling. And their she-camel was so weak because of the drought that there was no milk. And their animal, the donkey, was so weak that they had to take multiple stops, that the people were tired of them. That you are the slowest one in the back and you are making the entire caravan move slower. And Ibn Ishaq mentions, and this is my final point, that at this moment, Halima decides to take this orphan and yatim. And as soon as she grabs onto the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ibn Ishaq mentions in his seerah that that camel, which was the slowest, became the fastest. And the animal that was left all the way in the back with so many stops became the fastest. And that same mother who was unable to nurse her own child for almost a year of a time was able to nurse both of these children. And when they went back to the tribe of Banu Sa'd, when there was no water and there was a drought, wherever the animals of Halima went, they always came back filled with milk to provide nourishment for the family of Halima. And the people began to say, and these are the words of Ibn Ishaq, that the people began to say that let's nourish our animals where the animals of Halima are nourishing. My point here, and I finish with this, brothers and sisters, and forgive me for being a little emotional about this because this is my area and you are all my brothers and sisters. But today, the sunnah and the life of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is yatim. It's orphan. Where we are able to adapt every way of life except for the sunnah. Just like that orphan child left in the outskirts of Mecca while no one wanted to be with that child. And when this woman grasped onto this orphan child, Allah exceeded her amongst all the peers. And for those who thought that they would not find anything, found everything in where Halima had. Brothers and sisters, tonight, let's take this intention to embrace the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dignify yourself with the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And for the next time when you hear the sunnah, it is not just the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah inspire us, inshallah, tonight from listening from these scholars to practice the sunnah in our lives. Allow us to practice the beautiful akhlaq of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and embody the seerah of the great companions, the Sahaba and the Sahabiyat, and allow us to become a beacon of light and hidayat for the entire humanity. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.